Everybody has tips and tricks, but there's one that could be a game changer for you. In this video, I put top loading to the test so you don't have to. Let's jump right into the video. Welcome back to the channel. I'm IRONronan if you didn't already know. And today, what are we talking about? We're talking about top loading. You know, where you take a couple rounds that are really good and give you a buff to recoil at the top of your mag so you can kind of get that added bonus. Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to see if it actually works. Let's prove me right or prove me wrong. So I'm going to take a VSS, an RPK, MP7, and I even got a little surprise at the end that's going to kind of define if this does or doesn't work. Okay, so we're going to start with the RPK. The reason why I chose the RPK is because of the rounds per minute and the cyclical rate. Also, the fact that it uses 7 and 40, I think will be a great identifier to see if this works. So first, we're going to go with a full Golnick mag dump so you can compare it. At 20 meters, you can't deny that's not a bad pattern.
Good, really, really good.
Okay, so let's mag dump now with just 2 rounds of 7 and 40 to lead this mag of a Golnick. It doesn't take a scientist to realize how much better the recoil pattern is with 7 and 40 leading a mag. Imagine if I would have put 5 or 10 rounds of 7 and 40 to start the mag. So now let's switch over and go and try BS. Okay, so let's mag dump a full mag of just BS. You really can't deny that that's actually not a bad pattern. Now for BS with 7 and 40. Look how much better that is. You can already tell how much tighter these groupings are. I'm not trying to control it. All I do is center it in the same spot. Wait, I want to know from you guys in the comments, what's the one tip, trick, hack thing that you use that everybody else should already know? For me, it's crouch shooting. Everyone should crouch, kneel, same thing. You need to do that. You get way better shots on target. Your character's already in this position. So if he's kneeling down and you ADS, your shots are going to be way more controllable. Now back to the video. So now we're going to try another very popular round for recoil reduction, Subsonic with the MP7. All right, first we'll do a full mag dump with Subsonic so you can actually see a baseline of what it looks like with Subsonics. Now a full mag of APS-X since that's what we're going to be using to stack with. And wow, that massive jump at the initial shot. It's kind of insane the way these work. You should see a jump after the first or second shot, not like on the first shot. So now we'll do 10 top loaded subs with APS-X for the next 20. Extremely controllable, but you see a very hard horizontal jerk left to right. Now with just 5 Subsonics. This some reason seems to jerk to the right instead of the left, and you notice when there's 10 rounds it jerked to the left instead of the right. Something to really note, take a look. You're actually seeing ridiculously different patterns from 5 to 10 rounds of Subsonic here. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to notice that Subsonics make a massive change on this round. The APS-X is wild up top, and the first 5 shots are almost all flyers. But what's weird here is, even from the 5 to 10 rounds, you have a ridiculously different pattern. Honestly, 10 rounds of Subsonic with APS-X is kind of nutty. Okay, so now let's go to the VSS. We're going to be using SPP with SP5. All right, to get a baseline, we're going to go ahead and mag dump some SPP so we can actually see the recoil pattern. Pretty ridiculous recoil, but the round's devastating. So let's switch over to just a couple rounds of SP5 and see what happens. Yep, almost no difference. Let's go get a closer look though. You can see in reality, there's really no difference here. I think the best way to figure this out is with a large amount of SP5. Otherwise, this really just doesn't seem like something that's going to be very effective for the VSS. I think it's pretty obvious that this is not a created equal one-size-fits-all result. So after looking at those results, it kind of had me thinking, since it's not pretty standard across the board, what happens if I do this with 9mm, green tracer, and a PP19 and an MP9? And the reason why I'm thinking about this, same rounds, two completely different guns. One fires at 700 RPM and one at 950, but the muzzle velocities are in the 300s versus the 500s. So it could kind of actually help tell me how effective stacking mags really is. So same deal here. We're going to go about 20 meters and we're going to go ahead and run the test. I'll run an entire mag of just green tracer so we can kind of get a baseline of what green tracer looks like on its own. In all honesty, green tracer really isn't that impressive. The recoil is really high for a round that you basically have to just take some legs out to actually kill somebody with. So now we're going to be stacking with just two. As you can see from the inside of the mag, you can already see the PB. And you can see the recoil pattern is not much different. All right, so now is actually a high stack. Now we went down to 5 rounds. It does get a little bit better, but it really doesn't show much of an advantage. Stacking with green tracer just to try to get your recoil down really doesn't make a lot of difference. Even going from 2 to 5, it didn't make a lot of difference. Even green tracer by itself isn't that advanced of a round. So now doing the same thing with an MP9, we're going to try to actually see if it makes any difference in the cyclical rates. So regular green tracers just to get the baseline of how well this round shoots out. Because you want to try to actually get to what the green tracer can do on its own. So it's a very tight vertical recoil pattern, which is nice. But look how violent with just 2 rounds it is. It immediately attaches to that PB and gets very violent. Now with 5. It does mitigate it a lot with 5. For some reason, when the cyclical rate goes up, it actually does better with an MP9 than it did in a PP19. So as you can tell, my theory was correct. Cyclical rate does matter when it comes to recoil and recoil patterns and control. The PP19 didn't really have any help being a lower cyclical rate than the MP9. You take a look at the photo from the MP9, it's not even fair. It blew it out of the water and it actually worked. The one caveat here though, you gotta think, if you're really trying to kill somebody with those first 5 or 2 or 3 rounds being green tracer, you're taking a pretty heavy risk. Kind of like in one of these clips I'm gonna show you. You can see the gun jumped so high that I had to bring it back down to center to where the green tracer did literally nothing here. So what did we learn from that? I could have killed him probably the first couple rounds if I was using better ammo.
Yep.
So this situation really doesn't work for everybody. 7 and 40, exception. Subsonic can be the exception too. But there's not a whole lot of rounds that really will do its justice and still get you a kill too. Maybe you might think about doing it with 7 and 40, maybe a little bit of subsonic. Who knows? But until next time, guys, don't forget, you can check me out on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. Links will be in the description below. So until next time, guys, peace.